Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and I'm gonna be honest, this is like my third time, maybe fourth time recording this, because I never liked my other takes, so hopefully this is the last take I have to take for this video. So this is the My Furry Fandom Journey tag. I got inspired from Balese's old tag, which is the Furry Fandom tag, and, or the Furry Fandom Q&A tag. And I wanted to do my own, except do one that's targeted for furries that have been in the fandom for quite a long time. So, yeah. There are 15 questions. The only rule is, well, first off, answering all the questions. And then, it's not necessarily a rule, it is optional. But if you want to tag people, you have to tag 3 people. I'm tagging 5, just because I want to. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's just get into it. Alright, so the first question is, how long have you been a part of the furry fandom? I've been in the furry fandom for 5 years now. I started in 2017, end of November, early December of 2017, and I was 15 years old. Question number 2 is, what has changed for you since being in the fandom? Well, first off, when I first joined the fandom, I was in a horrible state. I was in school. I was just started 3rd year, and so I have my junior cert coming up, but my past 2 years prior were not nice. I was bullied and just overall just having a shit all time. Around the time when I did join, I was diagnosed with social anxiety disorder, and I just was not having a good time. But overall, now, since I've joined the furry fandom, I've become a much different person. I think it kind of shows when I look back. I would let people make fun of me, and I would let people take the shit out of me, and I would just let people say stuff about me, and that changed very quickly with my friend group that I made around the time, who turned me into a badass bitch. I'm kind of known in the fandom a little bit for being a bit of a strong personality. I'm very loud, and I kind of don't take no for an answer, and I don't take shit from nobody, and I just kind of don't bullshit around. So it's very different from who I used to be before joining the fandom, and considering I have that reputation, if you were to tell me that I would have this reputation when I was like 15, I wouldn't believe you. Just things have changed quite a bit. There was a few other things too, like my priorities have changed in the fandom and stuff, but the fandom's changed a lot for me. Overall, I've changed a lot since joining the fandom, so yeah. Is your main Sona still the same Sona you started out with, and how have they changed? Yeah, well, I did have 2 other Sonas before Kane, but they just didn't stick, so I never really used them. Those being Zeke and Blake. Zeke was more of a, he was nothing more than an anthropomorphic version of myself, but he was nothing more than an anthropomorphic version of 15-year-old me, which is not great, because that's my biggest pet peeve now, is people who knew me from when I was 15 still thinking I am that 15-year-old kid. No, I'm not. I've changed a whole lot since, and I'm not that kid anymore. So he didn't stick. Then there was Blake, who got a bit closer to what Kane became. He was a bit more flirtatious, a bit more charismatic, but he just didn't stick either, just because I didn't get really any attachment to him. And then Kane was made just because I wanted to make a Circle character, because Circles were my first fascination in the fandom. And then I gave Kane his colors, and that's when I made him my persona, and I basically made him less socially anxious. He was, really charismatic. He was everything I wanted to be, and then I slowly turned into him. Because I had an amazing friend group, I still have my amazing friend group, who pushed me out of my comfort zone and made me, who wanted to see me succeed and wanted me to break out of this barrier and overcome my shyness and overall just gain my confidence back and gain my self-esteem and my self-worth back. A lot of which, yeah, a lot of it has come back. I still struggle with it, obviously, because it's not gonna be a complete overnight change. It's gonna take a few years. And of course I've had a few blows since, but overall I'm much better than what I used to be, and that's still really good. But I don't necessarily need cane for my social anxiety anymore. My social anxiety is still there and it's still a problem, but it's not like my main problem anymore. It used to be my main problem. But I don't really need him for that anymore. So now his role has changed, where, of course, design aspects have changed. Like, originally he used to just have a purple stripe going down him, but that has changed into his mane, which I think looks a lot better. His scar color has changed, because initially it looked too fresh, and it does have a meaning, where that's where his scar is, where how he saw the world has changed. So it still looked like a fresh cut, and I wanted to change that into a more healed looking color, so it doesn't look like it's a fresh cut. So it's something he's been dealing with for a while, and it's healed up a little bit. Of course it's still going to be there, but it's not fresh anymore, if that makes sense. So that's the reason why that color has changed. It's a thing that you wouldn't really notice, but it's something that has changed. But overall, his role has changed just to stay strong. So he's more of just a anthropomorphic version of my resilience and my spite. if anything, that's the one thing that keeps me going, is spite. So if I'm being completely 100% honest. Alright, so how integral to your personality is being a furry now? Very integral. It's like one of the first things people learn about me is being a furry. It's something I kind of hide from my family-ish. I mean, a few cousins know, and I feel like some of my cousins do know, but I never really bring it up. Because some of them follow my art Instagram and I use furry hashtags, so I'm pretty sure they look at them being all like, oh, he's a furry, shit. But like, none of them have said anything, so I guess they don't really care. Then again, I haven't really been to any family stuff in a long time because of COVID. So hey, maybe it's changed. We don't know, but but it is pretty integral. It's like one of the first few things that people learn about me, and my thing is that I just don't care. I just don't care about people finding out I'm a furry. Like, I was known as the furry artist in my college course, and even in school I was known as, oh, the furry, and people would take the piss out of me, but I just don't care. I just do not care. I've heard it all at this point, so yeah. Has your goals in the fandom shifted since first joining? Yes, very much so. I probably should have answered some of these in what has changed for you since being in the fandom, where initially I didn't want to get a fursuit. I originally didn't want a fursuit, and now that has changed. I've been wanting a fursuit since maybe like 2019, maybe 2020-ish. No, 2019. No, I would have wanted a fursuit. That's when I started researching a lot more about fursuits in 2019. I nearly got a fursuit this year, but unfortunately I didn't. But I'm hoping, that's one of my goals right now in the fandom, is to get a fursuit at some point. And I have tried on a fursuit, and that was really fun. But overall, yeah. Any other goals? This is one thing that I should have put in the what has changed for you since being in the fandom, is that I used to be like, oh, I don't think I'd ever engage in the NSFW side of the fandom. Like, I just don't see myself to be that type of furry. Very quickly that has changed. Very quickly that changed for me. I was very naive about the NSFW side of the fandom. Like, I was very naive. But that has changed. I initially actually wanted to become a fursuit dancer. That was my first thing that I really wanted to do. I wanted to compete in dance comps. And I probably still would become a fursuit dancer, but it's not my main thing anymore. But my goals have shifted in the fandom a lot, because like my main thing was to become a fursuit dancer after me wanting to initially, when I said, oh yeah, I want to get a fursuit, I want to become a fursuit dancer. But now I wouldn't see myself becoming a furry content creator. And I think it was because I was like, oh, I don't have a fursuit. And then I found Beta Edited Loda's videos where he uses character stills. And then I was like, oh yeah, but I don't have digital art. So then I said, fuck it, I'm going to make paper stills. And a lot of people liked the paper stills. A lot of people thought that they were like unique and stuff. So I might make versions of those again. I might paint them actually. That could be new. Just so I could have a bit of variety, maybe a bit more fun. At least I had better audio this time. Art, I was very insecure about my art. I didn't think people would like it. And now I'm taking commissions, so yeah, and that's actually one thing that people actually really know me for and really follow me for and stuff, is for my artwork. And my artwork is always looking at you guys in the face as well. Like, I have the speed paints, I have it as my banners, I have it usually as my profile picture. I use Canlise's art that they made for me as my profile pictures too. Specifically for my YouTube, I really love that piece. But yeah, that was initially something that I didn't think people would be interested in, but hey, that has changed. Have your fandom inspirations changed since first joining the fandom? Yeah, I would say yeah. But I think it's also because I used to idolize a lot of people, like popufers. I hate that fucking word. Nothing gets me more annoyed than that word, because it's so fucking stupid. But I just realized they're just people, so I don't really look up to them as the same way I used to. But would they still inspire me time to time? Yeah, but I normally get more inspiration from the smaller circles, but for my more recent content, I really look up to Spocter and Simple Nicks. I both really love their content, and overall, that's where I get my main inspiration from. My best furry experience so far. Okay, I have 3. First off was Confuzzled's 2021, which was an online con. I got to go to a few panels that were really cool, and overall it was just really fun. Going to those panels. I did the furry psychology panel with Fur Science. I went to the Furry Trash podcast. I went to the Furry Trash podcast panel, which is the main reason I actually went. I then went to the Shadow Raccoon's YouTuber panel. I went to a furry antique show, but I didn't get to watch all of it. I only watched 20 minutes of it, and I wish I stayed there longer. And then I went to the art stream as well. That was really cool. And then I also went to a hypnosis panel. Then there was my feature on the Furry Trash podcast. All throughout 2020, I would listen to the Furry Trash podcast. And then I got my own episode. So yeah, so if you guys want to see that, I will link that in the description. But yeah, that was an experience. So yeah, that was cool. Very exciting. Still kind of think about that. I'm like, damn, that's mad. I got a feature on the Furry Trash podcast episode. So yeah. And then DCC meetup, my first fur meet, and oh my god, I got to meet all my best friends, and overall it was just a great day. I missed that day, and I wish I could have gone to DCC just happening this weekend, and unfortunately I just couldn't because of money. So yeah, a little upset over that, but hey, what can you do? I'm hoping there might be other few Irish cons, maybe other Irish furry meetups, but overall, yeah, that was fun. My worst furry experience so far. I've had a few bad experiences, but my worst right now, but the one worst furry experience I can talk about publicly, because it's out there. Labrat made a whole video about it. Is my experience with Jicador, about my pay to win video. God damn, that video. And so TLDR, if you guys don't know what happened, I made a video talking about is the furry fandom pay to win. I had promoted it in Odin Wolf's Telegram group chat. Jick started arguing with me, and I start, arguing back. He then was like, oh, but you're so young, and this, that, the third, and also you need to, pay for the internet and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's a multiple use thing. That doesn't really count as a furry fandom based thing, so And then I was like, did you even watch my video, my dude? And he was like, no. And like 80% of commenters never will. I was like, okay, then shut the fuck up. And overall, he was just being a dick. And then he came into my DMs being all like, oh, feel free to clap where no one else can stop you. Because at that point, I was starting to get timed out in the group chat for being all like, hey, Jick, shut the fuck up. Because I made a comment, like, my last comment that I made was like, oh yeah, this is going to be my last thing saying about the situation. If you, rag on someone's content, or belittle them, and they clap back at you, don't be surprised. And that's when he came into my DMs, trying to continue the fight, and I was like, dude, shut up. I don't care. Fuck off. And then, without asking me, by the way, he didn't ask me, he gets my video, reacts to it on stream, and then puts it up on YouTube. Do you not realize that could, maybe cause a hate mob? Very irresponsible of you, Jick, because, again, at the time I had about 400 subscribers. I wanted to say I had about maybe 440 at the time, maybe 430. And this dude has 21,000 subscribers, and I hate to pull that card, but when it comes to something like this, I'm gonna pull it, because that could have caused a hate mob. You know how the internet works, so this dude isn't stupid. And then I had a bunch of people thinking I was a kid when I'm not. I had just graduated college, I had just graduated from a PLC college, and he knows, because in the screenshots that I provided, I said I'm 19, nearly 20 years old. He knows I wasn't a kid, but didn't bother to, correct people at all. He was like, oh yeah, they're definitely a kid, and I'm like, dude, I'm nearly 20 years old. Like, my man, you are 31. Cop on. And just overall, it was an awful experience. Just the way I was getting belittled, and because of my age, which is really fucking stupid. Very mature of you, Jick. And then even the mocking of my voice. Again, he claims to not know I was trans, but dude, come on. You messaged me on Telegram. I said I'm a trans man. It says there, trans mask. You know I'm trans. Don't try to play, oh, I didn't know. You did know. And he still went on to mock my voice for it being feminine. And that hurts as a trans guy, because guess what? I can't go on testosterone. Because Irish healthcare is fucking bullshit. So getting on testosterone is going to be so fucking hard for me. And you're going to sit there and dog on my voice for it? Like, dude, what the fuck? And other people are like, oh, but he didn't do it because you were trans. I'm like, I don't care if he didn't do it because... I don't care if he didn't do it because... if he did it because... Or if he didn't do it because I was trans. It still hurts as a trans guy, because how I see it is that, oh, wow, he's dogging on my voice for being feminine. That hurts. And also, trying to mock me for being a kid too. Still dog shit. It is a really shitty thing to do, and it just really pissed me off. I didn't receive a lot of harassment for it. If anything, actually, he got me up to 500 subscribers by mocking me, so thanks, Jick. But overall, just was a really shit experience. And the one thing that really bothered me too was, well, it didn't bother me, it was one thing that kind of I hated about the situation was I was getting a bunch of DMs from a bunch of people. Some people who just were clearly nosy and just wanted to know what was going on, and then people who were genuinely asking me if I was okay. And I felt so overwhelmed with the amount of messages I was getting, that I just, because I've never been in the center of something like this before. I've never really been involved in any drama before, and I knew it was going to happen at some point. Did I expect it for someone to make a video about me to make fun of me? No. So, in fact, I was getting a bunch of these messages, and I was in the spotlight for a little bit. I hated it. I fucking hated it. I felt like I was bothering everyone. I felt like I was being a nuisance. I felt like I was causing trouble, even though it wasn't my fault with what happened. I felt like I was causing everyone trouble, even though everyone was just defending me. I felt horrible. I felt horrible about the situation. But yeah, that was not fun. I have gotten better from the situation, but it did affect me a lot, especially with my voice now. I'm very insecure. Like, I feel like everyone knows that, like, that I'm a trans guy who's not on testosterone. Because I had a few people say, oh, wait, you're not a cis guy? You're not cis? I thought you were a cis guy. You're trans? Damn, I wouldn't have known. You know? Just by hearing my voice, too. So I'm like, damn. And so I thought I passed somewhat a little bit. But now it just made me feel insecure, you know? Any hot takes in the furry fandom that some may disagree with, people are gonna hate me, and I'm sorry, but minors are sometimes a problem. Specifically with the drama side of the fandom. Holy shit. Because psychology class with Kane, right? Their logical side is not fully developed. So when they confront drama or stuff like this, immediately they go to their emotional brain. So they say stuff off the fucking bat, and they jump to conclusions, and then it takes them a little bit, and then they're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And that's one reason why sometimes drama is such a big problem in the fandom sometimes because of minors. And can you blame them? No, you can't, but that doesn't mean they're not an issue sometimes. It is just sometimes they can be a problem, and people are like, no, but they're the future of this fandom, and I'm like, yes, but maybe they shouldn't get involved with the fucking drama. Also, adults, can we act mature too? Because some of you are also in this category. Your brains are fully developed, or maybe they're just dysfunctional. Sometimes minors are a problem, and some people don't want to admit it, but it's true. Do you think you'll always be a part of the furry fandom? I don't see myself leaving at any time, but I'd say I got a few more years to go. Maybe another 5, maybe another 10, another 15 if I'm lucky. I don't know if I say I'll always be a part of the fandom, but it's a maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. How has the furry fandom impacted your life? Quite a lot. Especially in the past few years, it has definitely impacted my life quite a lot, especially online. Overall, it's been good. And not many too bad experiences, other than, the one that I have listed above, hasn't affected me too majorly. And again, I did have one other situation that I won't talk about publicly, but yeah. Overall, it has impacted me impacted me for the better. And especially with coming to terms with me being transgender. The furry fandom has really helped with that, and I just cannot thank the community enough. Do you prefer being called by your persona name or your real name? Okay, so overall, considering I have two sonas, you have Kane and you have Lorcan. Lorcan is my real name, so I only really like my close friends calling me Lorcan. I don't like random strangers calling me Lorcan. It'd be really weird if I was at a con and someone who watches my videos or sees my artwork online coming up to me and being all like, "Oh, hi Lorcan," and I'm like, it seems like they know me, and they don't. So I don't want people who watch my content to call me Lorcan. If you're friends with me, different story. But I'd rather be be called Kane than by people who watch my content. I don't want to be called Lorcan by people who don't know me. But most of my close friends, I'd rather them just call me Lorcan. My close friends do call me Kane though, mostly. I think the only people that really call me Lorcan are Lab, and I think that's it. Lab is really the only one that really calls me Lorcan. Overall, most of my friends call me Kane, and I'm usually fine with that because that's how they know me, that's how they identify me. Any long-term goals in the fandom? As of right now, getting a fursuit is the main one. Just improving my content, and overall just trying new things, commissions, that sort of thing. Going to a con, you know, that's just really it. Don't really have any other long-term goals. Do you see the fandom getting better or getting worse? Getting better. I know. A lot of you will be like, "Oh, it's getting worse." Man, no, I feel like we're getting less tolerant of bad people, and I think that's great. And overall, I just think we are getting better. We're fighting for better causes, and overall, I think we are getting better. I still think there is problems in the fandom, because of course there's always going to be problems, because we're humans, we're not perfect, but yeah. Any advice for newer furries? I see this a lot. There's always those furry archetypes. Don't feel pressured if you don't want to be a furry fox femboy, or you want to be a edgy circle man. If that's not you, that's not you. Just, this is so cheesy, but like, just be yourself, be who you are, and yeah, just don't be a shitty person. Simple as, you know. Overall, just don't feel pressured to be a certain way in order if you think that that's how you need to be, because I feel like some people do fall into that, but just be who you are. Alright, so time to tag people. So I'm going to be tagging Misha B. Barkin, Shrapnel Vagar, Shinzo Ashuro, Labrat, and Simple Nix. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, something new, something different, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.